Much like how Chris Stuckmann pointed out with the problems of horror, I have found that I really haven't been able to enjoy a horror film in the last while. I've been able to enjoy a few here and there, such as The Babadook from last year, but I find that the quality of horror has changed drastically over the years, and as many people point out, it's all about jump scares, revealing the tension, and revealing what the creature is, which is everything that really horror isn't about. Horror is about creating a world of mystery and tension. It's about establishing and keeping that tension in you until far after the film is over, and it is about making you afraid of sometimes everyday things, but also afraid of things that could be a possible future. The one such subject I'm talking about in this video is The Evil Dead. Now, I haven't seen the original. I have meant to for quite some time, but I just have never gotten around to it. And I had nothing to do for an hour and a half before I went to work, so I watched the remake. Now, a lot of people said that this film was cheesy and that it really didn't follow the original very well. The thing I have to say about this is, while possibly the concept of where they are, what's going on may be similar, I see a much different message with this film. Whether it was obvious to you or not, The Evil Dead is about drug addiction. And what's interesting is that it's not as well hidden as it was in It Follows, where it really created a sense of mystery and wonder. Evil Dead really kind of hammers it home with its visual imagery. Not only is the cinematography amazing in this film, but there are so many visual tells of what the film is really trying to tell you. The film really is about Mia's drug addiction. She is there because she is attempting to go cold turkey. But as we find out, she's tried this before and failed. But her friends are this time committed. Committed so much, in fact, that they will keep her here against her will. And what we see throughout the entire ordeal is the effects of drugs on oneself, whether it's from the mutilation of your body, say when Olivia was cutting herself. Now, that's not literally saying that drug addicts will take a piece of glass and start to cut their face off, but it's changing you. That's what drugs will do, is if you get yourself into an addiction, you will physically change. You will not be the same person anymore. What also is evident in The Evil Dead isn't just how your friendships will be destroyed, but also how sometimes friendships can be the cause of your drug addiction. This is done with Eric, who, despite all the warnings, every single thing telling him that he shouldn't do it, his curiosity takes hold, and he in fact causes Mia's downfall. And his portion of the story works both ways, because while we are told many and many a time the effects of drugs, the curiosity in some people just always wins out, despite what we already know will happen. Eric is also another visual of self-depression from drugs. His continual batterment and abuse and absolute carnage this guy goes through is another visual representation of drugs. It's really shown with a nail gun. Despite how many times it damages you, you just keep putting the pointy thing in you. And that is something that I really did enjoy, because while Eric continually looked like he was going to die, he kept coming back, which in a sense is another representation of drug abuse. Is while you can absolutely put yourself on the edge, your body is stronger than you would imagine and can keep you coming back, but you will just keep causing self-abuse to yourself. Another thing that I liked about this film is how the demon gets into Mia through her, The thing about drug abuse is that it affects you at your core, the part of you that is in fact pure, or your most sacred part of your body. Whereas drugs affects you entirely. For The Evil Dead, their visual representation is by using the darkness, this black liquid serpent, which by the way was done very well. I have to admit, I think this scene was fantastic. She has entered into a world where her body has now entered into a drug abuse. The only way that she can get rid of that is by kicking it herself, which is what the climax of the film represents. While her brother looks to be the one who will save her, he in the end sacrifices himself to no avail, because while you can have all these people to help you get through your abuse, the only way you can really kick it is by doing it yourself. And that's why I feel that the scene where she removes her own hand is a representation of cutting off the hand that feeds you. I thought that this imagery was so well done, especially when she's finally standing up and standing over her evil demonic self, and she lets rip with a chainsaw. And most likely one of the best shots I've seen in a horror film in quite some time is displayed on the screen. The plethora of blood, of the background fire, and the gore was absolutely amazing, but what it also represented to me was Mia having finally overcome her addiction. So that was my thought when I saw The Evil Dead. For me, it was pretty obvious watching the whole thing, but I wonder if you guys could see that too. It's been out for 2 years, so admittedly this conversation is slightly old, but I'm very interested to see if anyone is still talking about it. I noticed that a few people in the IMDb comments really don't seem to get what it's actually talking about. They feel that the gore and the horror is just comedic, when really it has a much deeper inner meaning. Anyway guys, that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe we can talk about this again sometime soon.